Hey everybody, it's Trags alongside CLNS media colleague Alex Barth outside Gillette Stadium. The running back position for these 2018 Patriots, certainly one of intrigue heading into the regular season. We have one preseason game remaining, but when you take a look at the running back position right now, it's James White and then what?
Right, and we're looking at a situation where a guy like Rex Burkhead potentially will open the year on IR, where a guy like Sony Michel even could potentially open the year on IR, designated to return. So there's a lot of question marks, I think, overshadowed by the wide receivers, just given the nature of how the Patriots play. It's not as crucial of a position, and they do still have James White, where the Patriots will be without Julian Edelman for the first 4 weeks. But I do think there are some flags here between Jeremy Hill and Mike Gillislee. I think maybe now we're looking at the chance that was a remote chance at the beginning of camp that both make the team. There may even be a spot for Ralph Webb on this team if one or two of those running backs I mentioned earlier opens the season on IR, and it's definitely going to have to be by committee to start this season, because the one thing we know about James White, he's an excellent player, he's very crucial to this team. He's not the guy you're going to hand the ball to 20, 25 times a game, especially in between the tackles. He's going to get wear and tear. It's going to slow him down in the other aspects where he's potentially more important to the team. So who's going to get the majority of those carries? Is it going to be a guy in Mike Gillislee who struggled to fit into the offense last year? Is it going to be Jeremy Hill, who's had a couple of down years in Cincinnati? Is it going to be Ralph Webb, which I know a lot of Patriots fans would like to see? But Bill Belichick finds himself with some tough decisions because he may have to keep an extra running back on the roster in order to get through the first couple of weeks, at least until Michel or Burkhead possibly return.
Here's the issue. I don't have a problem with James White being the leading ball carrier with 15 to 16 carries a game. He can carry that load. Let's not, Alex, make this out to be that James White is afraid to carry the ball, or more to the point, Josh McDaniels is afraid to call James White's number in the running game. He's not. He's a very capable running back. Has he proven to be spectacular between the tackles? No, but maybe the Patriots don't need him to be. And the other thing to keep in mind, the Patriots are so creative when you talk about the running game. Cordero Patterson is somebody who could get a couple of touches, maybe 5 to 6 touches as a running back in the running game, and he's a guy on the team, making the team as obviously a wide receiver and a specialist. So there are a lot of different ways the Patriots could go with this running game.
Yeah, I think Philip Dorsett factors into that too. We know how much they love to go to the jet sweep when they have the personnel. They certainly have the personnel this year between Dorsett and Patterson to run some of those plays, but it's like, the famous Bill Belichick press conference where he was asked by a reporter if he's opposed to having a feature back, and he gave that famous Bill that Corey Dillon rushed for 1,400 yards in 2004, so you tell me, right? But I think there is, and I love to go revisit that.
Very well done, by the way, Alex.
I love to revisit that because people use it as Belichick's dry humor, but also he's talking about Corey Dillon. He's talking about a borderline Hall of Famer. James White's a very good player. There's no Corey Dillon on this team.
No.
There is no 1,400-yard rusher on this team, so he is going to have to get creative in the way he does it.
See, I think Jeremy Hill, if he were healthy and didn't sprain his ankle the other night in Carolina, he's the kind of guy that can put up maybe 1,000 yards in a season if he's healthy and if they block for him and give him the chance, give him the chances. And you would think, given, the uncertainty with the wide receiver position, maybe the running back, and that's what we heard of a lot of in camp, early in camp, is that, hey, this running game could take a lot of the stress off Tom Brady to start the season with Julian Edelman on a 4-game suspension to start the year.
And I think what they're looking for, maybe this guy's on the roster, maybe he's not, just to cross over here for a second. They need somebody to be to the running game what Rick Porcello is to the Red Sox starting rotation, right? A guy that some nights he's going to be great, some nights he'll be okay, but you're going to get 6, 7 solid innings from him. You don't have to use too much of your bullpen.
Sure.
They need a guy that doesn't have to be a world beater, doesn't have to be an all-pro guy, that's going to go out, be reliable, can eat 17, 18, 20 carries a game, hold on to the football, pick up first downs when needed. Now, is that Mike Gillislee? Is that Jeremy Hill? Jeremy Hill, Rick Porcello seems like potentially a good comparison
analogy,
right there, but they do need that guy, and I'm not sure James White is that guy, because in addition to those snaps, you need him out there on third downs, you need him out there in passing situations to factor in as that receiving back, and I don't know if Bill Belichick wants to double up him being the receiving back and being the feature back in the running game with the majority of the carries.
That is an excellent point, Alex. I mean, you look at James White as possibly being the single most important player in the Patriots offense after Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, simply because of what he can mean to both the running game And the passing game.
And early on, I wouldn't be surprised, too, if he sees snaps at wide receiver, if they line him up in the slot running some of Julian Edelman's old routes. So he is crucial to keeping this offense ticking for the first 4 weeks. Look, you have to run the ball. I'm not saying they don't, although we probably will see a couple games early on, like we've seen in the past couple of years, where Tom Brady throws the ball 45 to 50 times. But you can't totally abandon the run, and you're going to need somebody when James White is lined up in the slot, when he needs to take a breather to be fresh for third down. You need somebody you can rely on to come in and take important carries. And that guy, whoever it's going to be, needs to step up in that fourth preseason game.
Tell me why Ralph Webb makes this team.
I think if Sony Michel or Rex Burkhead or both open the season on IR designated to return, right now on our latest roster projection, you can check that out on CLNSmedia.com, he's the only running back we have off the team along with Mike Gillislee. Mike Gillislee's not giving you the kind of options that James White gives you in the passing game, in the outside
Jeremy
the
Hill
tackles
does on special teams.
Jeremy Hill, right, and Jeremy Hill does on special teams. So if you lose 2 running backs to injury, Ralph Webb's, unless they go out and sign somebody, and I know Adrian Peterson was maybe a fit for a little bit, but he's signed down. He was really the only name out there. Ralph Webb's going to be the guy by default who makes it onto this team, and then who knows how far he could go. Will he be the Jonas Gray, Mike Cloud that they get 2 great games out of and then we never hear from him again? Or is he the Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, the undrafted running back that sticks around for a couple years and makes a difference?
The running game is certainly something we'll be covering very closely on CLNSmedia.com. Follow all of our coverage there and on Twitter at Patriots CLNS. He's Alex Barth. I'm Mike Petraglia. Outside Gillette Stadium, CLNS Media.